If you're experiencing a loss of power on your SeaDoo Spark where it acts like a car spinning the tires on takeoff, chances are the problem is with a wear ring. The wear ring fits around the impeller and helps guide the water through the jet pump. Any excessive gouging or cracks in the wear ring can cause a significant loss in power. Thankfully, replacing the wear ring is a fairly straightforward process that doesn't require a trip to the dealership. The tools you need are a 10mm wrench, 10mm and 13mm sockets, a universal joint adapter, at least 8 inches in extensions, a ratchet, a torque wrench capable of 16 foot-pounds, a slotted screwdriver or 1/4-inch socket. If you have a Spark with IBR, you'll also need a 13mm wrench and 13mm socket. If you have the 3-up model, the socket and ratchet will need to be 1/4-inch drive and preferably a ratcheting wrench to speed things up. The supplies you'll need, in addition to a new wear ring, which I'll link in the description below, are paper towels, BRP triple guard grease, brake cleaner or BRP pulley flange cleaner, and optionally new bolts with Scotch grip for the jet pump assembly, or thread locker to reapply to the threads of the old bolts, and an O-ring for the exhaust cooler line. Let's get started by removing the IBR connecting arm. If you don't have IBR, use the chapter markers below to skip ahead to the steering cable. Use the 13mm wrench and 13mm socket to take out the connecting arm bolt. If you have the 3-up version, you'll have to use a 1/4-inch drive ratchet to have enough room for it to fit on the nut on the inside. For the 2-up version, you should be able to use the ratchet on the bolt on the outside. Now that the gate is disconnected, use the 13mm wrench or 13mm ratchet for the 2-up version to take out the bolts on each side of the IBR gate. Then slide the gate out of the way and set aside. Make sure you don't lose the spacers on the connecting arm or IBR gate pivot points. Now to disconnect the steering cable, turn the nozzle to the left to gain access to the steering linkage. Using a 10mm wrench and ratchet, take out the bolt connecting the nozzle to the steering cable. Lastly, before taking off the jet pump, disconnect the baler hose. The hose clamp can be removed with either a slotted screwdriver or a 1/4-inch socket. Once the clamp is removed, the hose can slide off the siphon tube, or in my case, the siphon tube may just slide out of the jet pump. Now with the jet pump controls disconnected, take out the 3 13mm bolts holding the jet pump assembly on the watercraft. You'll need at least 8 inches of extensions to be able to reach these bolts, as well as a U-joint adapter for the lower 2 bolts. With these 3 bolts removed, the jet pump assembly can be carefully removed. BRP also recommends utilizing the engine alignment plate to hold the drive shaft in place temporarily while the jet pump is removed to avoid damaging the oil seal where the drive shaft exits the engine. The old wear ring may come out with the jet pump, or in my case, be left in the hull. Simply pull it and the neoprene seal out. Now it's time for a little cleanup prior to installing the new wear ring. Using BRP pulley flange cleaner or any brake parts cleaner and a paper towel, clean off the old grease from the drive shaft splines. Make sure not to spray any cleaner on the hull or any plastic components. Also, while you have the jet pump removed, take a minute to inspect the IBR boot as well as a sacrificial anode and the exhaust cooler line O-ring. Replace the boot if you see any cracking on the rubber or feel water inside. It's possible to replace it with a jet pump in place, but it's a lot easier to access with it removed. The anode should be replaced if it's worn down more than half. The shop manual recommends to replace the exhaust cooler O-ring, but it should be fine to reuse as long as it appears to be in good shape. Now to the impeller, unscrew the impeller boot. This is a left-handed thread, so turn clockwise to remove. Then use the cleaner and paper towel to clean all the grease from inside the impeller splines. Also use a paper towel without cleaner to wipe down the inside of the rubber impeller boot. With the old grease cleaned out, reapply new BRP triple guard grease on the impeller boot, the inside of the impeller splines, as well as the drive shaft splines. If you have it, the shop manual calls for Loctite 577 thread sealant on the impeller boot threads before reinstalling it on the impeller. Now it's finally time to install the new wear ring. First, make sure that the neoprene seal is on the correct side. The one I got on Amazon had it on the wrong side out of the box, so make sure that it's correctly seated in the small groove on the end. Then, with a neoprene seal up, line up the wear ring notch with the top bolt on the jet pump and gently press it into place. The first rib should be flush with the jet pump, and the impeller should spin freely with about a fingernail's width clearance. Take the jet pump assembly with the new wear ring and carefully slide it back into position. Pay special attention to the steering cable, that it's routed through the opening on the right side of the jet pump, and the IBR connecting arm, that it's on top of the left side. With it about 4 inches away from the bracket, it's time to guide the drive shaft into the impeller. I found the easiest way to do this is simply to slide one hand between the hull and the wear ring and carefully guide it into the impeller boot. Once it's in the boot, continue to slide the jet pump assembly into place. You may have to gently rotate the jet pump side to side when it gets close to seat the splines of the drive shaft into the impeller splines. You should feel once they line up and the whole assembly will slide into position. The shop manual calls for new M8 jet pump housing retaining screws, but if you choose to reuse the old ones, just apply some thread locker like Loctite 243 before reinstalling. Get the top bolt started first, then install the other 2 bolts. Get all 3 of them snug and then torque each to 16 foot-pounds. Reconnect the baler hose on top of the jet pump and the steering linkage. For the steering cable, the bolt and the washer will go through the nozzle first, then through the cable end. The other washer and the lock nut go on the bottom. Tighten them all with a 10mm socket and wrench. If you don't have IBR, that's all there is to it. But now for the IBR bucket, apply some Loctite 243 thread locker on the side bolts. Verify the spacers are correctly inserted in the IBR gate pivot points, and with a gate correctly positioned on the inside guides, get the pivot bolts started. Use a 13mm socket or wrench to tighten them. If you have the 2-up and are able to get a torque wrench on them, the correct torque is also 16 foot-pounds. The last thing to reattach is the IBR connecting arm. The bolt and self-locking nut are both 13mm. After reattaching everything, crank up the engine and briefly press the throttle to raise the IBR bucket. Now turn off the engine and make sure the IBR bucket returns to the down position. Now it's time to take it for a test drive. With a new wear ring, you should be back to full takeoff speed. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button. Also subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and check out my SeaDoo playlist for all of my SeaDoo related videos.